When I was younger, my week centered around one day, Monday night. As you could probably tell, I was a pro wrestling fanatic. And I'd like to say I've grown out of it, but let's face it, some habits die hard. Hey, I'll admit it, I love pro wrestling. Always have, and I always will. And that's why I'm here today, because my friends and I, we have a lot of matches we want to talk about. What's the point of being a wrestling nerd if you can't talk about it? And if for some reason you've got a problem with that, I've got 2 words for you. Fuck you. What? Do you think I was going to say something else? Welcome back, wrestling fans. I'm your host, Cody Wynn, and we had a lot of great response from the last episode, and somebody actually mentioned a match they wanted us to review, and oddly enough, it was actually our next match, and that is one of the most important matches, or moments, I guess, in pro wrestling history, and that is Bash at the Beach 1996, The Outsiders versus Team WCW in the Hostile Takeover match, and the birth of the New World Order. Now, sorry about that. Sorry, hang on one second, I'll be right back. Oh, hey, how's it going, man? What's...
Fuck everything you know! And fuck everything you know, too. Yeah.
Oh, damn it. But you know what? He was right. This match really did say to everyone out there, forget what you know about pro wrestling. Things are about to change. Scott Hall and Kevin Nash had just come off of their contract with WWF. And so, you know, WCW at the time decided that they were going to start throwing money at these big name superstars from WWF and get them to jump ship and come over. So they came in under the guise of it was a WWF invasion of WCW. First you had Scott Hall. He came in and he started taking over the Nitros. He would, you know, intimidate people, Tony Schiavone, Eric Bischoff, and he had a warning. He said he had somebody else coming. He had backup. And who was his backup? Of course, Big Daddy Cool Diesel, or going by his real name at this point, Kevin Nash.
Now he said last week that he was going to bring somebody out here. I'm here.
What are they doing here? Coming in with their cut jean jackets and their tight jeans and their black boots. You know, Larry Zbyszko saying, why are they sitting in the front row? It was just trouble. You knew it, and they knew it.
So they both made their debut on Nitro. They were rampaging through the WCW locker room. They were hanging out with the crowd. They were interfering in matches. They were the badasses that were, you know, they were just stealing the show. They were coming in and they were taking over WCW.
WCW is boring. I'm sorry. I know people love it. I personally think it was boring, but having Hall and Nash definitely brought WCW up, and I knew they were up to no good. Again, I didn't know how far they were gonna go. I didn't know what was in store, but hey, nobody saw it coming.
WCW ends up saying, you know, fuck you guys, we're not gonna take this. We're going to kick you out. And so that's when they made the match at Bash at the Beach in 1996. Now, the stipulation of this match, actually, I don't even know if there really was a stipulation. It was just, these new guys versus Team WCW. And it was a 3-on-3 match. However, there was only 2 outsiders, right? So they needed one other person. And they promised they had a big name superstar to complete their roster. And they came out in the match, and it was just them. Just the 2 of them.
We have police everywhere. We have security everywhere. I have no idea what's going to happen next. What the hell's going on?
Now at this point, everyone's going wild. Okay, that's a lie. If you look at the crowd, nobody's actually going wild. This has to be the tamest pay-per-view crowd I have ever seen for any main event.
The crowd looked so bored they look like they were at the DMV. And I just went there 2 weeks ago, so I know. Nobody was doing anything. Some guy was filing his taxes. Somebody else was sleeping. It just looked boring. Nobody was paying attention to the match. And the sad thing is, that was the main event match. So why are they just sitting there? I don't know. Again, I think WCW is a little boring, but that's just me.
You know, after about, you know, I'm just going to stop myself right there. This match has no significance whatsoever in itself. It was a really boring 3-on-2 handicap match. Let's just go ahead and kind of speed things up if you don't mind. That should about do it. So the end comes. You know, it looks like the outsiders are, you know, they're taking advantage of everything. It looks like they're going to win, but all of a sudden, the big man in the back comes out. Hulk Hogan. Everyone thinks he's going to, you know, tear it up with the outsiders. They're going to kick him out of the ring, and what does he do? He drops the most powerful wrestling move in history, the leg drop, on Macho Man Randy Savage. And this is the biggest heel turn in the history of pro wrestling.
To see him turn, even still to this day, I mean, I jumped out of the seat. It was crazy. You know, Macho Man's there, is he gonna help him? Then he does the most devastating move in wrestling history and does the leg drop. And then he shakes their hands. What the hell? Hogan? And I'm not even that big of a Hogan fan, and I was shocked.
He's turned bad. Hulk Hogan, Hulkamania, the red, white, and blue. He has turned his back on fans, and he's decided that he's going to align with the outsiders. And in his speech, which, by the way, his speech is like the Ultimate Warrior with Tourette's. You know, you don't know what he's exactly saying after he says those famous words.
You can call this the New World Order of Wrestling, brother.
And that is where we get the nWo. Now, the reason this was such a big shock was because Hogan was the all-American good guy. He's what's called a babyface. He was the ultimate babyface, some might say. He started his career in the WWF, and he rose to stardom as the red, white, and blue, the take your vitamins, say your prayers, good guy. He was the real American. He's the one that fought the Iron Sheik and Sergeant Slaughter and all of the classic bad guys of the 80s and 90s. But when things started getting stale with him in WWF, he picked up a large contract at WCW and jumped ship, and he became their flagship athlete. And things were getting a little stale for him there too, and that's, from what I understand, that's why he turned heel. He just thought it was he and Eric Bischoff. They decided, hey, let's shake things up a little bit. Let's give the crowd something they haven't ever seen before. And that's why this was such a shocker to everybody, because no one expected Hulkamania, the brother, the guy that you grew up watching and loved for standing up for the little guy and doing the right thing. No one expected him to come out and drop that devastating leg on the Macho Man and turn his back on the WCW community, you know, in such a way. But he did. And thank God for it, because this actually brought about a revolution in pro wrestling. The nWo had such an impact on the industry that it really made things into a gang war in all federations, because in WCW you started seeing other groups pop up, groups like the Four Horsemen, who had been around for essentially decades at this point, but they decided to come back in response to the nWo. You had the Dungeon of Doom was still around at that point. You had Raven's Flock, which is one of my favorite groups of the 90s. Then, in response, on the other side, you had WWF, and their whole 1997 was riddled with with groups and factions. You had the Nation of Domination. You had the Disciples of the Apocalypse. You had Los Boricuas. Anybody remember them? Savio Vega? Do you remember him? Also, you get probably the best response to the nWo, and that is in Degeneration X. That's Shawn Michaels and Triple H in China, and it just grew after WrestleMania that year. But either way, none of this would have happened. None of it would have happened without the nWo. And that's it. That's the history of the nWo in a nutshell. And there's really nothing else to talk about this match, about the birth of nWo, but okay, you got me. Let's go back to the match. There's a couple things I really need to talk about.
All right. The outsider's getting the advantage.
First of all, this is a 3-on-2 tag match, and I get the third man is Hulk Hogan. He's in the back. It's the big reveal. So it's a handicap match. That's cool. 2-3 seconds in, Kevin Nash has has Lex Luger tied up in the ropes, like over in the corner. He's just got him in like a headlock, and all of a sudden Sting does a Stinger Splash. And apparently this is the most devastating Stinger Splash that he has ever done in his entire career, because this thing knocks Lex Luger out. Like, knocks him out as in they have to come out from the back, put him on a stretcher and wheel him out. I mean, seriously, look at this thing and I have no idea what's going on here. This is ridiculous.
Oh my gosh, what's going on? Look at Lex. Is he okay? Is he doing cocaine? What's going on with him? I'm just kidding. That was much later on in his career. But anyways, every EMS in whatever county they were in came out to try to revive him, and he still couldn't be revived, even though Nash took 90% of that bump. But whatever.
I guess the best way that I can describe it is by reappropriating Jim Ross's call from the Hell in the Cell match with Mankind and applying it to this move. This is the only way that it can seem like anything really happened. So I hope you enjoyed this. So a lot of nothing happens, then I guess Macho Man, he gets the hot tag. He's been out for a while since Lex Luger, for some reason, has been knocked out of this match by the devastating Stinger Splash. Macho Man gets the hot tag. He's up on the top rope. Scott Hall comes at him. You think Macho Man's about to drop down on him, then all of a sudden Scott Hall does this.
And we love it. And we love it.
What the fuck was he just doing? He was, I think he was doing the wave, or he was trying to dance, and he was trying to seduce Macho Man. He's like, give me that elbow, Macho Man, give it to me. And he did, and it looked fucking terrible. I guess the last thing I want to say about this match, probably the best spot in the entire match, is the spot post-match where a fan decides to jump over the railing and get into the ring. Of course, Kevin Nash is there to stomp the shit out of this guy and just tells him to fuck off. They come and grab him. But this was the best part of the match, I have to say. So kudos to you, fan, wherever you are. Anything you have? Anything you want us to review? A match? A promo? A Raw? Nitro? Please don't make us review Nitros. ECW TV? Anything. Just let us know. Just comment right here. Not on my nuts. In the comment section.